Hello, hello. This is another movie review. I haven't done in a bit. Uh, now, I've watched a few Mel Brooks films, not a lot. I've seen Blazing Saddles, Spaceballs, and Men in Tights, which is probably my favorite one. Well, I just watched another one, Dracula, Dead and Loving It. It's free on YouTube if you want to watch, but looking at the background of the film and everything, it was a critical failure and a commercial failure, and I can kind of see why. I hate to say it, but I was trying to think of how to describe this film, and I think the best way to describe it is it's a comedic um, Dracula film made by Mel Brooks, but it feels like Mel Brooks was just starring in it, not actually made by Mel Brooks. You know what I mean? Well, let me explain. Of course, it kind of follows the thing of Dracula and everything, and stars Leslie Nielsen as Dracula. Has Amy Esbeck as Mina. A few other people I don't know. Harvey Kilber was the father. Uh, Mel Brooks is playing Abraham Van Helsing. I was like, okay. But it's just kind of like trying to really put into words and be nice. Well, not nice, but the film, it feels like it's taking itself too seriously. It's a parody more, I guess, of the more earlier modern Dracula films from the Golden Ages and all that. Kind of like how Young Frankenstein was a parody of all that. I haven't seen Young Frankenstein yet, but I know about it and everything. But this film, it felt like it was almost too serious of a tone or something. I don't. There's comedic moments, absolutely. There's comedic moments like him telling Mina, Amy Yazbek's character, who looks gorgeous in this film, to he has her under his trance, like, walk to the door. And she walks to the door, opens the door, goes in, and he's like, that is the closet. Like, well, you didn't specify what door, and it makes sense. She's in a trance. She doesn't necessarily know what door you're talking about. And then she trips over a footstool and is like, that's funny. That's funny, but it just, it didn't feel like a Mel Brooks film. Out of the ones I've seen, it didn't feel like a Mel Brooks film. Like, I don't remember there being even a breaking of the fourth wall. Even like, I mean, the closest to breaking the fourth wall is him. His shadow would, do some things on its own, and then he had to reel in his shadows, like, stop that. Or the closest to a Mel Brooks esque feeling is he has this big hair thing, and he's like, "Will you take my hat?" And he takes off that and he hands it to him. I'm like, well, that's funny. Or, the two brides in the beginning, the brunette and blonde, which that moment was very bit much uh, because of sensuality thing. But they're kind of gliding across the floor originally, which is a cool effect. But he says, "Stop that," and they stop and they just walk out normally. I was like, "That's funny. That's what I was expecting." Like, Mel Brooks, like, that's good. But then it's just like, I don't know. It just felt too serious. Too, like, it was trying to be like a Dracula movie. That might be the best way of describing it. It felt like it was trying too much to be like a actual adaptation of a Dracula story, but with some humor in it. Which is, you say, well, of course, that's what it's all about. It's like, well, you look at Robin Hood Men in Tights, it was a spoof. It was a spoof of, all the different type Robin Hood films that came before it. This film didn't really feel like it was spoofing as it was trying to be just a comedic Dracula film. And it's just like, I don't know. The cast is great. The cast is great. Like, I believe the cast and everything. You could take the same cast, every single role, and put them in a different movie with everything, and maybe make it comedic, or maybe even make it a serious movie, and I'd believe it. I think it'd be a great film. They all acted great, but it just didn't feel like a comedic Mel Brooks. Like, it was just like a couple laughs, like, and there's a couple good moments, like he's talking to the guy and they're trying to trap Dracula, and He's like, would you be worried and jealous if I danced with me then? He's like, Jonathan's like, well, actually, Van Helsing stomped on his foot, and he's like, no, I wouldn't. Dracula passes, then he's like, oh. I was like, where? It's just the feeling of the film felt like it was trying to be too much Dracula. Then, yeah, you can tell I'm disappointed. That'd be the best way to describe it. But it's not a comedic film per se. Comparing it to the other three that I've seen, compared to this film, it just is like. Again, that's the best way to describe it. It's a Dracula film with some comedic stuff, or a Mel Brooks film that Mel Brooks is in, but not really directing, even though he was the director. The most interesting thing from a technical level, I will give this compliment, the mirror scene. If you watch it, Dracula doesn't appear in a mirror being a vampire, but you see Amy Heswick's character, Mina, she's dancing with him when it's actually her, and it's just like, that's impressive, because the idea of an actor, when you're trying to do the movements of dancing with somebody and you have to make it look real, that's actually kind of hard to do. And then the effects of, the standy dances, but the effects of just showing her alone and everything, that's impressive. That's good. But it's just like, I don't know. The feeling was off in the film. That might be the best way of describing it. The feeling was off, which is sad. It had great actors. They all did their parts well. It's just the feeling was off. I don't know what else to say. If you want to really see comedic thing, see Spaceballs, Men in Tights. Probably Spaceballs you probably find a lot funnier, or Blazing Saddles. But this film is a Dracula film with some comedy in it. It just didn't feel like Mel Brooks comedy compared to all the other things. That's the best way I can describe it. I don't know what else. So, anyway, well, see you in the next one. Goodbye.